Let's look at the fifth one. Within the preliminary, it talks about giving up bad company that brings adverse circumstances. If while befriending someone, the three poisons increase, the activities of study, contemplation, and meditation degenerate, and love and compassion disappear, then it is the practice of a bodhisattva to give up this bad company. When we are in the company of certain friends, our negative emotions, the three poisons that causes the life force of liberation to be cut, to be severed, may increase. And meanwhile, the activities of the sacred Dharma study, such as study, contemplation, and meditation, which are the main cause of accomplishing liberation, may automatically degenerate. Moreover, the bad companies may cause all virtuous qualities accumulated within us throughout the past, such as the very roots of the Mahayana path, that is bodhicitta, love, and compassion, to completely disappear. We can see that the bad company can be very harmful to us. To abandon all such immoral acquaintances and unwholesome friends, conceiving them as dangerous wild animals such as tigers and leopards and so on, they would be hiding and ambushing people, and they would jump onto people without any guards, while unguarded, so that the wild animals can attack and kill them. To part from that kind of dangerous friends is the practice of all bodhisattvas, their manner of giving up bad company. The wild animals would only kill the life of one person for one lifetime, but to eradicate or to sever the virtuous roots of a practitioner would be harmful for lifetimes. Similarly, if we were to have those kinds of bad friends, that could be a great adverse circumstance for us to liberation. And that is why it is stated in the purposeful expressions, don't associate with people who are influenced by evil. If you follow those who do evil, even though you do not engage in it yourself, others will suspect you of evil, and infamy will spread. If you were to affiliate yourself with the ones with bad activities and with evil intentions, after a while, you would be tainted with such kind of infamy. As well as the persons who keep company with those base individuals will themselves become corrupted. Some people may think that, well, as Mahayana practitioners, we shouldn't even abandon those bad companies, right? We have to have compassion and bodhicitta. But from a different perspective, if you were to affiliate yourself with those bad companies, then all of your virtuous deeds within your mind stream will be taken away, will be severed. So from a long perspective, from a bigger perspective, it is good that you have such kinds of compassion and such kind of bodhicitta, but you have to make sure that your realization level is very steady, and at a pace of steadfast practice, you can then tame them. Otherwise, it could be very dangerous for you. In the Sutra of Supplication of Mindfulness, it says that evil friends who are the basis of desire, anger, and ignorance are like a poisonous tree. Moreover, from the Nirvana Sutra, the Bodhisattva's fear of bad company is not like the fear of a mad elephant, because in India back then, mad elephant is something to be fearful. The later, which is the mad elephant, will only trample the body, but for the former, the bad company, they will destroy the purity of both one's mind and one's virtue. To give you an example, for someone who have not studied their realization, if they were to affiliate themselves with people who are, for example, alcoholics and who have the negative habitual tendencies such as speaking ill of them and so on and so forth, then it's very easy for the beginners to be tainted with those bad habits. So we have to part ways from those bad companies. Whenever we look at the teachings given by Jigme Rinpa and Longchenpa, usually they would write a whole chapter on giving up on bad company. In the way of the Bodhisattva, it says that being in the company of childish beings will cause me to praise myself and belittle others. In short, if one keeps company with the unwholesome friends, their faults will rub off, and the virtuous Dharma, which has not yet arisen, will not arise. Likewise, that which has already arisen will degenerate. In such ways, there are many shortcomings. Befriending childish beings, it is easy for you to be close to them at one moment, and the next moment you would become enemies. And sometimes the childish beings would get angry out of no reason, and it is because the mandimis are very difficult to please. Even at situations where it is something that could bring happiness for a bad friend, it is easy for them to bring suffering even during happy moments. That is why it is essential for the practitioners to abide in solitude and practice at quiet places. Otherwise, one would be tethered by great afflictions at all times. That would be such a pity. And then Lord Atisha continued to say that keep in mind that one should give up friends who arouse negative emotions and rely on friends who increase virtue. We need to remember this. People whomsoever would arouse negative emotions and afflictions, we need to part ways from them. And then for those kinds of friends who increase virtue, we need to get close to them. We need to befriend them. Also, from the questions and answers of the father, for the father teaching, Atisha, who is the worst among adversaries? Who's the worst among all the enemies? And he said that the evil companion is one's arch enemy. Atisha, what is the most adverse circumstances for one's vow, for one's perceptions? And then Trungpa started answering by that is women and so forth. So give them up. In order to observe pure precepts, it is essential for you to give up women. Women would be the worst adversaries for people who want to keep pure vows. Nipa Rinpoche also had similar teachings. He said that the beautiful women are the worst adversaries to the monks. Indeed, for a pure monastic, if one were to be tainted by the beautiful women, then the harm could last for lifetimes. The virtues that's accumulated for many lifetimes can be destroyed. Similarly, for the female monastics, the worst adversary would be men. Whomsoever would arouse most desire for you, that would be your worst adversary. That would bring the worst obstructions for you. Dealing with such intimate relationships would be the most difficult within the desire realm. Once you started to get desire to the other person, then one's precepts can be tainted. For that reason, if you want to attain the three bodhis, then it is essential for you to part ways from them. And then Trungpa himself said at one time, keep skillfully away from the negative friends who generate attachment and aversion, as well as if an inferior person associates with an excellent excellent friend, then this person will become no better than a person of mediocre character. It is to say that to an inferior person, if he were to rely on someone who's of the noble qualities, then he can be tinted with the noble qualities, just as a piece of ordinary wood placed in the Malaya fragrant wood forest, then the fragrance can be tinted. But if one were to be of the superior qualities, of the noble qualities, that associates with the inferior ones, then their qualities can be tinted, can be influenced. If an excellent individual associates with a base one, then the excellent person will, without difficulty, become base. Potowa explains the following: if one, on top of being weak, listens to the advice of bad companions and assimilates their conduct, then one's long and short-term aims will be mistaken. If one were to follow the advice or even listening to the kinds of inferior knowledge of the bad companions, then all of those kinds of information can be an obscuration to one's liberation. And those kinds of information can destroy our virtues of this lifetime and future lifetimes. And just as remaining near dogs brings us near dog bites, if we general practitioners, and especially those ordained, stay in proximity of young women, then in terms of this life, we will be near a bad reputation. And in terms of future lives, we will be near the lower realms. While nowadays, lots of people would slander the monastics, especially in monastics, when they affiliate themselves to women. And people would use those kinds of excuses to slander the teachers, the Dharma teachers. If one were to affiliate with those young women and then get a bad reputation, all of such can be of an obscuration to their future propagation of the Dharma. On top of that, a bad reputation could lead to the monastics to be expelled from the Sangha. So it is best not to affiliate with the other gender too closely. Nowadays, people would say that so-and-so is the consort of a teacher or a consort of some master. Though in the Vajrayana teachings, we do have a very small number of people that are qualified to become so, but not everyone is. To a pure practitioner, such kinds of claims can become the greatest slander. Those Khenpos and Khenmos, the monastics that observes the pure precepts, if one were to use these kinds of words to praise them, then in some ways they're trying to destroy your reputation. As practitioners, we cannot even joke about those kinds of titles, especially in a pure monastic group, especially such a pure Sangha like Varungar. It is not allowed to say such things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't talk about it is because you need to keep these things in secret. I'm saying that you need to part ways from the young women, part ways from the other gender or people that arouse the desire from you. Then as it is said by Geshe Potawa, he said that just remaining near to the dogs bring us near dog bites. So we need to part ways from the ones that brings us to desire, so that we can keep our pure precepts. And then Geshe Sharawa said, since women are root of your negative emotions, don't stay in their vicinity. Shaboka then continued to say that there is no understanding that loving but evil friends may be disastrous guides. And that angry but virtuous friends may be of benefit. New Gunpa states, you should give rise to the notion that a non-virtuous friend is your deadly enemy. You should give rise to the notion that a bad companion is a contagious disease. I think nowadays we have lots of understanding of contagious disease. Whenever there is people getting affected by COVID-19, then they need to be under quarantine from the others, and people would part ways from them and would not want to get close to them. Whenever we see a non-virtuous friend, then we need to part ways from them, just as that person is of a contagious disease. Furthermore, from the great Gyaltse Tokme himself, if one relies on evil friends, unwholesomeness will increase, since they create obstacles to the virtuous Dharma. And you who wish for happiness in all your lives, cast friends who are of poor character far away. This part is quite important. Look at Gyaltse Tokme, who's a great teacher and a great master. He pays great attention to the unwholesome friends. And he taught this way and practiced just so. That really shows that he doesn't affiliate with non-virtuous friends.
Sonum da ye tanche zubanya tonna ni be jana tanche jirga nan chi ran chuba chubum sone joba jor sho